Ozzy Osbourne, the irreplaceable voice of heavy metal, has passed away at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy that is as powerful as it is tragic. Known to millions as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy wasn't merely a rock star. He was a symbol of rebellion, authenticity, and raw human vulnerability. His death has sparked an outpouring of grief, remembrance, and, surprisingly, questions. From his electric stage performances to his heartbreaking final days, there's far more to Ozzy's story than headlines reveal. What really happened in his last moments? Why are fans questioning the official narrative? This tribute delves deep into his life, legacy, and the mystery surrounding his final goodbye. The rise of a legend, from Birmingham to Black Sabbath. Born John Michael Osborne on December 3, 1948. In Aston, a working-class suburb of Birmingham, England, Ozzy grew up in a modest home filled with the struggles of post-war poverty. The fourth of six children, he was no stranger to hardship. His father worked night shifts at a car factory, and his mother was a cleaner. Ozzy, who battled dyslexia and attention issues, found solace in music. Influenced by the Beatles and early rock and roll, he dreamed of escaping the bleakness of industrial life. That escape came in 1968 when Ozzy co-founded Black Sabbath with guitarist Tony Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Their sound, a dark, heavy blend of blues and distorted guitar, would become the blueprint for heavy metal. Songs like War Pigs, Iron Man, and Paranoid didn't just entertain, they terrified, challenged, and galvanized. Ozzy's haunting vocals and theatrical stage presence turned the band into legends. They weren't just making music, they were defining a genre, chaos and redemption, the solo years. Despite Black Sabbath's success, internal conflict and substance abuse led to Ozzy's firing from the band in 1979. Many believed his career was over. Instead, it was reborn. Teaming up with guitar virtuoso Randy Rhoads, Ozzy released Blizzard of Oz in 1980, featuring hits like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley. The album was a commercial and critical triumph. It revealed a new side of Ozzy, the wounded poet beneath the darkness. Over the next decades, Ozzy released a string of successful albums, navigated personal demons, and built an empire. He became known not only for his music, but also for his wild antics. Biting the head off a bat on stage in 1982 became a defining moment. While critics lambasted him, fans saw it as pure Ozzy, unpredictable, unapologetic, and fearless. The Osbournes and reinvention. In 2002, Ozzy surprised the world again with the MTV reality show The Osbournes, which offered an unfiltered glimpse into his chaotic family life. With Sharon, his firebrand wife and manager, and children Jack and Kelly, the show was a cultural phenomenon. Millions tuned in weekly to watch Ozzy bumble around his mansion, curse at remote controls, and express baffled affection for his family. It made him lovable to a whole new generation and solidified his place in pop culture. But even as the cameras rolled, the toll of decades of excess was catching up to him. Silent battles, the health struggles. Behind the scenes, Ozzy's health had been declining for years. In 2019, a fall at home exacerbated a spinal injury from an earlier ATV accident, triggering a cascade of complications, including nerve damage and intense chronic pain. He underwent multiple surgeries and was often in and out of hospitals. In 2020, he publicly revealed that he had been battling Parkinson's disease since 2003. "It's been terribly challenging for us all," he confessed in an emotional interview. Fans, heartbroken yet supportive, watched as the once unstoppable performer struggled to stand, let alone sing. Despite the pain, Ozzy kept fighting. He released new music, made appearances, and vowed to return to the stage if his health allowed. Yet those close to him began to see signs of quiet resignation. According to insiders, he spent his final months under 24-hour medical care. Sharon stayed by his side, sleeping in hospital rooms, shielding him from the relentless media gaze. The final days, a private farewell. In the last weeks of his life, Ozzy made the decision to return home. It was a symbolic move, a return to familiar walls, his beloved family, and the music that gave his life meaning. Visitors were limited to family only. Friends, producers, and even some former bandmates were turned away. Jack, Kelly, and Amy Osbourne reportedly spent long, emotional nights by his bedside. Music played softly in the background, most notably the Black Sabbath ballad Changes, a song about pain, letting go, and transformation. One insider claimed Ozzy wanted that track to be the last thing he heard. Just days before his death, he turned to Sharon and whispered, "I'm not afraid anymore." A simple line, but from a man who had battled addiction, illness, and fame, it carried the weight of a lifetime. Questions and speculation, the mystery of the final 24 hours. The news broke quietly but decisively. Ozzy Osbourne had passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by family. The official statement was short and dignified, thanking fans for their support and requesting privacy. But almost immediately, questions emerged. Just 2 months prior, Ozzy had spoken about recording new music. His optimism, however frail, gave fans hope that he still had time. So why did things deteriorate so suddenly? Why the abrupt shift from hospital care to home hospice? Why were his children and wife suddenly silent on social media in the days leading up to his death? Some fans speculate that Ozzy had known his time was short and chose to keep it private. Others whisper about medical decisions and end-of-life choices the public may never fully understand. The tension only grew when insiders revealed Ozzy had recently rewritten his will. A complicated legacy. The will, the letters, and the music. Left behind. Ozzy's estate, reportedly valued at over $220 million, has become a source of intrigue. Sources close to the family revealed that he had made significant changes to his will about a year before his death. While Sharon was always expected to inherit a large portion, rumors suggest that some family members received drastically reduced shares. Particularly striking is the speculation around Amy Osbourne, Ozzy's eldest daughter, who opted out of the family's public life and declined to appear on the reality show. Some claim she was excluded from parts of the will, not out of spite, but because Ozzy respected her desire for privacy. More intriguing are the reports of handwritten letters. Final messages Ozzy wrote for each of his children and for Sharon. Said to contain regrets, love, and reflections, these letters remain private. But not for long, some suggest. There is talk of a posthumous documentary or memoir that may reveal these final thoughts to the public. Also stirring speculation is the vault of unreleased music. Sharon once hinted that Ozzy had recorded songs to be released after his death. Are they part of his farewell? Could these final recordings be his last message to the world? Tributes and mourning. A world remembers. The global reaction was immediate and immense. Candlelight vigils were held in Birmingham, Los Angeles, Tokyo, and beyond. Fans left flowers outside Ozzy's childhood home. Online, hashtags like RIPOZZ and Prince of Darkness trended within minutes. Music streaming platforms reported a massive spike in plays of his catalog. Musicians from all genres paid tribute. James Hetfield called him a pioneer and a brother. Corey Taylor broke down during a concert. Gene Simmons, once a rival, called Ozzy the heart and soul of heavy metal. But the most emotional message came from Tony Iommi, his longtime friend and Black Sabbath co-founder. "We started this journey together. Now I walk it alone. But I'll carry your voice forever." The spiritual side of the Prince of Darkness. Despite his image, leather jackets, howling vocals, occult imagery, Ozzy Osbourne was a deeply spiritual man. He had a lifelong fear of death, not because he feared hell, but because he feared the unknown. "I've lived through worse," he once said, "but I don't know what's waiting." In his later years, he explored various forms of spirituality. He meditated, read scripture, and met with energy healers. Friends say he wasn't seeking salvation, just peace. He wanted to make sense of his past, the pain he caused, the lives he touched, and the demons he couldn't always conquer. The real legacy of Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne wasn't a saint. He was messy, flawed, and unpredictable. But he was also real. unfiltered in a way that is rare in today's curated world. His lyrics weren't just about darkness, they were about pain, war, loneliness, and the desperate human search for meaning. He gave voice to the voiceless, to the outsiders, to those who felt unseen. His music wasn't just entertainment, it was a lifeline. Songs like Diary of a Madman and Mama, I'm Coming Home resonate deeply because they come from a place of truth. He lived hard, he stumbled often, but he always got back up. He showed us that even legends bleed, and that's why we loved him. A legacy that echoes forever. Now, as the world grieves, it also celebrates. Radio stations are playing Ozzy marathons, murals are being painted, fans are organizing tribute concerts. His story is not over. His music continues to echo in headphones, on vinyl, and through generations. His greatest gift wasn't just his music, it was his humanity. Ozzy Osbourne was more than the Prince of Darkness. He was a father, a survivor, and an artist who never faked it. In one of his final interviews, when asked how he wanted to be remembered, he said, "As someone who gave you everything he had, even when he had nothing left." And he did. Your turn, remembering Ozzy. Now it's your turn, the fans. We want to hear your stories. Which Ozzy Osbourne song hit you the hardest? Which moment, lyric, or wild performance will stay with you forever? This is your space to share how the Prince of Darkness touched your life, changed your path, or gave you the strength to be yourself. Maybe it was the first time you heard Crazy Train and felt something awaken inside. Maybe it was watching him command the stage with Black Sabbath, or seeing him defy the odds time and time again. Maybe it was his raw honesty, his humor, or the way he embraced his flaws and still roared louder than life. However Ozzy entered your world, we want to know what he meant to you. Let's come together to build a digital tribute, a living memorial, for the man who didn't just perform music, but became a symbol of rebellion, survival, and authenticity. Ozzy didn't play by the rules. He didn't follow trends. He created them. His voice, both guttural and ethereal, carved a place in rock history and in our hearts. From Paranoid to No More Tears, he gave us songs that weren't just soundtracks. They were lifelines. So share your Ozzy moments, the concerts, the records, the tattoos, the memories. Whether you're a lifelong fan or a newcomer drawn into his myth, your voice matters. Rest in power, Ozzy Osbourne. You redefined what it meant to be an icon. Your music lives on and your legacy is forever. The world may have lost a legend, but your voice, that will never die.